I'm in the big leagues, told them don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly.
Welcome, football fans, USFL fans, but most importantly, Houston Gamblers fans, to Gamblers Table Talk. The Gamblers have gone 4 weeks with wins. Oh my gosh. And do you guys know what that means? That means it is Victory Wednesday for the 4th week in a row. I got to say, I did not see this coming at the beginning when we lost the first 2 games. A lot of people had us as last on the power rankings. We went worst to first. We are number 1 on the community power rankings, and I am having a darn good time doing it. Oh, I love it. Okay, so moving on. Let's go to the week 6 Gamblers, winners, and losers. Now, we won. It didn't look bad, so the losers are going to be a little nitpicky, but I digress. First winner, Clint Sig can jump. The man, the myth, the legend from Lindenwood. He has a huge following online. His mom was at the game dressed to the nines in Gamblers gear. She had a huge cowboy hat on and a bunch of big playing cards. She was in an article. Go read that. I retweeted it on my Twitter. Go follow it and go read that article. It's great. But Clint Sig was an absolute man possessed out there. I think he had like 3 of Kenji Bahar's first 6 completions at the beginning of the game. It was crazy. Every time we got to a third down play, they were really, really selling out on Mark Thompson. They wanted to make sure that they stopped him. And that was just leaving the flats open. And Clint Sig would take it. And the man said, watch me, and went and jumped over him. That was great. Absolutely loved it. He's a good player. And so I'm glad that he's finally getting the use that he deserves. So that's awesome. We need to keep using him. Brandon Barnes was hurt this week. Clint Sig looks great. He's great as an H-back, as a fullback, and as a tight end. He can do literally all of it. So we need to keep using him. All right, winner number 2. This defense is legit. So I got Kalen Tolson. I got Donald Rutledge Jr. over here. These are 2 of our leading tacklers. I mean, Kalen Tolson is all over the field. When we were playing against Alex Magoo, he was sprinting all over the place. It looks crazy. Against the Generals, maybe that's why they didn't play DeAndre Johnson. Maybe it's not just like, oh, he was still a little banged up. Maybe they knew that we can stop running quarterbacks. We have a fast defense. And so DeAndre didn't play. We had Kyle Lalletta's number. Jeremiah Johnson goes and he picks him off. JT Tyler had 3 pass deflections, looked crazy. Dude is playing like Mike, jumping up in the air, batting balls down way higher than he has any right to be getting up to. The defense looks great. Jeffrey Johnson out of Oklahoma, USFL draft pick. He comes in, makes his first start, and is just an immovable wall in the middle of our defensive line. Our rush defense looks fantastic. Darius Victor was a non-starter. Kyle Lalletta looked bad. They didn't even try DeAndre Johnson. The defense is working. I love to see it. We're picking up people. We're filling spots where, we can kind of see, the center of our line, we don't have a lot of size. Like, we don't have huge guys like we had Dominique Davis last year. Pick up Jeffrey Johnson. Oh, we don't have that much size in the secondary. Deion Lake is doing well in zone, but then in man, getting singled out on an island, he's getting beat by taller receivers. Okay, go pick up Elijah Jones, who's a 6'3" defensive back. They're filling in the spots, and the defense is really learning how to play together. So it's fantastic, and everything is going smoothly there. Now, let's talk about the losers. Number 1, conservative offense. So we showed that our defense was stopping them, and then we kind of just slowed down. We weren't really taking that many shots, a few shots, but it really was either Kenji was going to throw it into the flat or he was going to take a shot for the end zone 60 yards out. I mean, you got to be able to start hitting the post, hitting the corner routes, doing a little bit of rub routes, but nothing crazy. Work people open. You have one of the best receiving cores in the league. You have Justin Hall, who is literally leading in all statistics. You have Anthony Ratliff-Williams, who shows he can do it all. Isaiah Zuber's back. Kiki Chisholm. You have these people. You need to be using them. Then we can open Mark Thompson back up. Obviously, he's still going to score, but people are going to be keying him, so it should be opening up the pass game. So don't play conservative. Use that. Number 2, don't forget who got you here. We saw they were trying to work different people into the offense this week. We didn't see Anthony Ratliff-Williams. We didn't see Kiki Chisholm. These guys, they are the ones that we rode here on their back. Like, we need to make sure that we're getting them the ball. We need to make sure that we're doing what works. I understand we got Isaiah Zuber back. I understand he was an all-star last year, but these are the guys who have been here since training camp. They've been making it work. And then this week we put Isaiah Zuber in and the offense just isn't rolling as hard. Just go back to what was working. We had 3 straight weeks of dominant offense. And then this week the offense was just a little but just go with what works. Anthony Ratliff-Williams, I got to see more of him. But moving on, we have Gamblers news. So we have a free agent signing. You would have known about this 2 days before the Gamblers tweeted about it, before he was even on the depth chart on the USFL website. If you were following me on Twitter and on Instagram at pocketaces_USFL, go check it out. So everybody knows at this point, I preached all the time. Our general manager, Bob Morris, he went to CU Boulder in Colorado. The man played defensive back there, and he absolutely loves his Colorado Buffalo players. Not to mention, we have basically half their defensive staff from last year on our staff here on the Gamblers. So makes sense. We pick up Isaiah Lewis, a safety. Now we go pick up Guy Thomas, who's a defensive edge rusher, linebacker hybrid position, which is a great player to pick up because he can fill in multiple positions, especially if someone starts to get, hurt, if you want to rotate more going down the stretch to keep people healthy for the playoffs. So great that they picked him up. He already knows the defensive scheme. He played it in college. I love it. His defensive line coach and defensive coordinator, Chris Wilson, he's meeting him here. Hopefully we'll see him going into next week. I do not think he'll be active this week. This week, he's a definite inactive, but great news. Oh, look at this guy. He also had some time with the Colts. He was signed as a free agent after the draft. I mean, this is a fresh guy, 2022 going into the 2023 NFL draft. He did not get drafted. He signed with the Colts as a free agent. The dude's going to be a force. So can't wait to see him. Now we move on to the 3 keys to beating the Showboats. Again, we already beat them last time, but at this point, we are 2 completely different teams. When we saw them, Kenji was still making the errant throws, throwing bad interceptions. Our defense was like Swiss cheese. They were starting Brady White over on the Showboats. They had Alex Collins. These are very different teams now. So it's going to take 3 different keys to beat them. So key number 1, we have to stop the run game. While Alex Collins is out on IR, probably for the rest of the seasons, they pick back up Juwan Washington. They have Kerry White, whatever his name is. They got their run game going better than Alex Collins ever did. Maybe like Barney said in How I Met Your Mother, new is always better. They got 2 running backs. Now, not necessarily new because Juwan was there last year, but they picked him up after releasing him this offseason. They have gotten it going. We have to be able to stop the run game, right? Cole Kelly, he has shown that he can run a little bit, but his passes, they're not necessarily the most finesse thing. It's not like he has that much touch. So we need to make him throw against us. We need to hold him in the pocket and stuff the run game. Now, key number 2, no bad turnovers. The Showboats, they got a huge upset win against the Breakers. Why did they do this? Because they were able to stop Wes Hills, and then MBT was just throwing interceptions, bad turnovers to the point where they dug themselves in a hole and they couldn't overcome the Showboats. This is a picture of last week. It's an interception. We cannot be throwing these bad interceptions. We can't be putting the ball on the ground. We have to be able to contain and control this game, especially because this is a home game, technically, kind of, because we're playing in the stadium we practice in. But Showboats fans are going to show out. They're going to show up, and we have to be able to calm the crowd and not give momentum changes easily with bad interceptions and dumb fumbles. Now, key number 3, big key. Last time we played the Showboats, we almost gave it up because we had over 100 yards in penalties. It was crazy. Every other play was a penalty on the Gamblers. Now, in the past 2 weeks, we've only had 2 penalties, but you go back, you're playing in your home stadium, you're playing against the guys that you had a ton of penalties against last time, you fall back into bad habits. You have to make sure that you keep your guys calm, you keep everybody collected, no bad penalties. We cannot risk it. We cannot put ourselves in a hole. That's how the Showboats have been beating people, is that they've become more disciplined. They're being more conservative on offense and controlling the ball better, and they're getting turnovers. They're winning the turnover battle. So we have to make sure that we are disciplined on all sides of the ball, offense, special teams, defense. We have to make sure we're cool. We cannot give up a 109-yard return to Derek Dillon like they did last week. We cannot do that. So discipline, stay in your lanes. Don't commit bad penalties. We got it. Now, last thing, the thing I want to leave you with is we look great. We are the hottest team in the league. They kept saying it on the broadcast, the white hot Houston Gamblers. Cool. We're white hot. but they are still on our tails. Technically, the Breakers are still number 1 in the South. We are tied stat-wise or record-wise with the Stallions. We just have the head-to-head against them. This is the tightest race. We still have to win. It's not like we pulled away. This race is still so close. I got the little race cars. I thought that was fun. But we cannot let our feet off the gas. We have to press on, and we have to finish the race. And it starts by just blowing the Showboats playoff hopes this week. If we beat them, it probably knocks them out because they lost the head-to-head to us twice and the Stallions once. So we just need to put our foot on the neck, finish it off. Guys, there's a lot to love about the Houston Gamblers right now. I am so excited. This is the most fun it's been to be a Houston Gamblers fan since the team started. Man, if you're in Memphis, if you're around Memphis, show up to that game. Go say hi to Clint Sig's mom. You'll see her. She's in the big cowboy hat. Dude, we got to show out. Be loud on Twitter. Support your guys. At them, tweet at them. We got to beat the Boats. All right? So let's knock it out and let's beat these Boats, baby. Go Gamblers, all in. I'll see y'all next time.
I'm in the big leagues, so they don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, hey, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly.